Hello, folks. You have now been pulled into the Black Dimension. Welcome to another great show. I am your host, Roger, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about WandaVision. Okay? WandaVision is a great show. If you have not already went and watched WandaVision yet, you got to make it a priority to do so. Now, WandaVision comes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you do not know. And Endgame was the last entry. Well, actually, it wasn't Endgame. It was actually a Spider-Man Far From Home. That was actually the last entry. But WandaVision picks up beyond that point. Okay, so if you are following the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you got to watch this. This is a show that, even though it was a first television show, and it is officially the first uh, television show that has been totally in tune with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For those of you who might not know, and there have been some shows that have come out through Netflix, but the shows that come out through Netflix were not totally attached to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Those shows were done kind of by a different department. To my understanding, you had Kevin Feige, who was running the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then while Kevin Feige was running the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there was some internal issues going on, and departments split. So the television department kind of split with the movie department, which they could follow along and get certain information when it comes to what was going on in the movies to make the television shows more accurate toward what the movies were doing. But they were two different departments. Now, I can't tell you right now if the television shows, Agents of Shield, um, Daredevil, uh, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and the Defenders. I don't know if they're all going to play out and actually be considered part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe because they were not under the direction of Kevin Feige. Now, this show, WandaVision, is the first one that was actually under the direction of Kevin Feige. That being the case, it was a little bit more in tune with different information that was going on, and it's going to be a little bit more. Um, it's going to be a little bit closer to what's happening with the movies. Now, there's going to character. There's going to be characters established from the Marvel Cinematic Universe when it comes to the movies, and when it comes to the television show. Things are going to now start flowing much more together. Now, that being the case, I definitely recommend you watch it because why wouldn't you watch it? Okay, it is a show that is now attached. Things that are created on these particular television shows that are coming out because there's another one that I'm gonna get to that one as well. Uh, uh, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is also a television show directly under well, I'm not going to say directly, but it's under the umbrella of what Kevin Feige has under control with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Kevin Feige actually put into this, and he wanted these shows to be a good fit to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that he has been building. And he even wanted them to spend money as if with the same level as the production of the movies, so things can stay consistent. And I can definitely guarantee you that things did stay consistent. These did look good. The There's a great job with the storyline, and not to tell too much of the storyline, but this was a very different television show. It actually started out where the show itself, there was like a show going on inside the show where Wanda used her powers to take over a town, and she was basically creating a television show for herself. And she controlled people in the town. She controlled the things that's going on with the town, to the adults, the children, the whole enchilada, to basically create a reality that she wanted to be in place. And as Wanda created this reality to be what she wanted to be, of course, certain things happen, and of course, it is attached to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So you did have villain somewhat developed, but in this particular case, the hero was kind of the villain because she did take over town. It was against people's will. She basically did what she wanted to do, and there was basically no stopping her at the end of the day. So now this show did definitely kind of show the scale of the power that Wanda actually possesses, even though we know from the early entries into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, she doesn't truly know how to control her powers. But she has such a power level that's almost out of this world because she kind of blocked off a town, like she just took over a whole town. And to be able to be able to take over an entire town, you got to have a certain level of power going on. And when you for you to take over this town and have people under her control, even while she's sleeping and going about her regular life, or not even going to say the regular life, because she was doing life through episodes, like episodes of television shows that things that we watch as a kid, well, at least people my age watch as a kid, or even younger folks may have watched it on watch reruns of things like the Partridge Family, the Brady Bunch, I Love Lucy. There was a lot of different inspiration of older TV shows that came on that they build off of, and they really wanted to give people a certain feel for what was going on. They even went through a lot of set designs and a lot of special effects, and they were using like effects from the time that they were portraying in the TV shows. So for it was all around good for what they were doing. Uh, definitely, definitely something you should watch because again, this is going to be very, very much connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So if you miss these television shows that Marvel is producing, this can put you in a bad situation when it comes to keeping up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe itself. You don't want to miss certain parts. Now, I'm definitely a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so that's what it is for me. I'm definitely a fan of it, so I definitely recommend folks watch it. Okay, and this as the first show that was under Kevin Feige's supervision, it actually was a great show. Now, yes, a slightly different feel from the ones that Netflix produced because that's where all the other shows have been produced so far outside of Agents of Shield that has been on ABC. And if you don't know, I believe Disney owns ABC, so it makes sense that they would do a television show on ABC. So it was a fantastic show though, and as you go along through the show, you'll see how the time frames kind of change, and you can see how you started with, which would seem like I guess the 50s, and things kind of moved up closer and closer to today's time. So it was a very interesting feel on what they were portraying. You know, it's definitely a show that, to my knowledge, is there's no haven't been any shows done quite like this. I know Bewitch was also an inspiration for the show itself, and I've never seen a television show go from different periods. Sure, you've had television shows where it was a one period of time, and then for like something special, they'll do like a special episode, maybe even two episodes where they'll go back in time or go to the future, and they'll do something from a different time frame. But this was a little bit different because it carried from one one time, I would say starting in the 50s all the way up to present day, and present day would be 2021, and you could see the evolution of what was going on throughout the show. And shout out to Tyrone Church, glad to see you here, my brother. Shout out to you. Um, and shout out to Black Men Being Brutally Kev of Black Men Brutally Honest, uh, who I guess is going to appear in a moment. Um, the link is there for you, brother. The link is there for you. Okay. Now, as a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and if you do not know, I I actually am one of those people who really weren't in the comic books when I was a kid. You know, I didn't buy them or anything like that. I looked at a comic book here or there. You know, I can remember seeing a comic book. I can remember holding the comic book. I may have read once, one or two, and I couldn't even tell you what that was. So there's a lot that goes on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I'm really not that aware of, and I know some people have issues with is it holding to what goes on in the comics versus something else. But the thing is that it doesn't necessarily have to hold to what's going on in the comic world because it is something. It's another universe, and you know when in the comics you do different universes, and you know there's a multiverse. So I can't even say another universe. It's another another part of the multiverse. So in the multiverse, things differ from one universe to the other. You know, so as a person who doesn't know all the different things that happen in the comics, to me it's been good so far. There's a lot of different intricacies that I wasn't necessarily aware of. Of course, I've talked to people who have read comics, and there's people who have certain expectations on different things. Now, I'm a person I don't really put an expectation on it because I don't know what I'm necessarily supposed to expect. Now, WandaVision, I mean, Wanda did show she's extremely powerful, and Vision we also know is very powerful, but Vision was destroyed. So the fact that Vision was in the show was kind of surprising, and the fact that Vision was back through the help of Wanda, and you had a whole town being under the direction of Wanda, you know, it makes you think how powerful is Wanda at the end of the day? Because to me, this has to be a huge form of power to create these different situations and to control so many people being a part of this universe. What's going on, Donnie? I brought you up. I just muted your mic. You got to turn yourself down a little bit. There was a little bit of an echo. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I hear you.
Yeah. So what was you rambling on about the universe, the multiverse, and the theories?
Bro, I think you got YouTube playing in the background.
Hold
Yeah, there
on,
you go. I hear
I'm
myself.
on in my car. All right, give me a second. Let me jump out of here. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, so
Yeah.
let's get it.
That's pretty
So
good.
yeah, all right. So you was talking multiverse theory, huh? So what were you where were you going with the multiverse theory?
Well, no. What I was saying is that because I didn't read comics as a kid, I don't have an expectation on what things are supposed to go. But everything's about a multiverse, so people have expected certain things to happen, but they don't necessarily happen. This goes a little bit different than certain things in the comic book because I hear people discuss that and I've talked with people about that. But I just take it as, you know, when you have a multiverse, which the comics is known for having multiverses, you can do different things in different ways because you're not necessarily beholden to the comic books.
Yeah, you're not tied to a specific story. So to be honest with you, Kevin Feige's done a great job with the comics, with the movies, keeping them as close to the actual story as possible, and that's really based on it being a movie. You can't do things in a comic that you can do in the movie. You just can't, right? Like you can kill a character in the movie and bring him back with an expected twist, right? But you also can't have everybody shooting lasers out of their eyes and doing everything because it's just too it's not cost effective, right? So you have to change and mold things so that it's believable in a set time frame of a movie, that you can progress the story along and it's not killing your pockets. Kevin Feige has done that with great accuracy, in my opinion.
But to me, Kevin Feige seems to be the man at this particular point because the Marvel Cinematic Universe actually pulled me in right from Iron Man, the first Iron Man, so Iron Man 1, as we say. And I've been liking the ride ever since. Now, when it comes to these television shows, you can actually get the feel that this was made with movie budget money because it does look like the movies. It's a little bit different than the shows that are on Netflix. So I'm assuming that because these shows are now coming out under Kevin Feige's direction, that the shows that happen on Netflix and ABC, I don't think they're going to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's just my personal opinion. So I don't think that Coulson's coming back. I don't think that any of the cast from the Defenders and on their personal shows. I don't think any of them folks are going to actually be recast as a well. They may be recast in a different role, but I don't think they're going to come back as the same character. I think that's going to
So
be totally done
my
away with.
understanding from the recasting angle, right? Yeah, Agents of Shield, which was Coulson's show, Phil Coulson's show, that was an up and down nightmare mess. They were supposed to be on par with the MCU, and then I believe it got rejected and they disavowed that show. That also had an Eternals spinoff that took place. So I believe those two shows are going to be disavowed, right? Then you have the Netflix series, which in case the Defenders. My understanding that the actor who played Daredevil is going to reprise his role in the upcoming Spider-Man film.
Oh, it's the same character?
So and it kind of take yeah. So he's basically supposed to reprise his role as Matt Murdock, being Spider-Man's lawyer. And that did happen in the comic books where Spider-Man was on trial. I can't really remember. I remember the cartoon version more, but he did something having to do with Wilson Fisk, and Daredevil became his lawyer and defended him. And in that, you had the good guy versus good guy fight where we're on the same team. So you had that little nonsense go on. And then my other understanding is they just love John Bernthal, so they're going to keep him as the Punisher. Now, granted, it's the multiverse. They may be the same character, and we disavow the events that happened in the Marvel universe. Same character, just slightly different backstory. That way, they don't have to retell the story, and we can just kind of jump right into a movie. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Kind of like how they did it with Spider-Man. Spider-Man has been told a bunch of times over and over. So when they got to the actual Spider-Man movie, they was like, "Listen, you know what the hell you need to know. Let's go."
Uh, well, yeah, when you had three different Spider-Mans within the last 10 years, yeah, there's only so much you kind of need to say. Um, but I will say I do like the direction this is going in. I don't know if the Matt Murdock is going to actually show up to defend Spider-Man, but I mean, the next Spider-Man is on the way, to my understanding, and it's supposed to be called. But to my understanding, it's supposed to be called. I think it's a No
No
Way
way
Home.
home. Yep.
So it should be interesting if they recast. Well, I don't even say not necessarily even recast him, but if the same guy plays Matt Murdock, who was in the Netflix series, even though the Netflix series won't necessarily be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward, it should be good. And I was kind of wondering if anything like that was going to pop up here in WandaVision, but I didn't see anything like that in this particular show. But
Let me ask you this: do you remember when they first listed these shows? What was supposed to come first? Was WandaVision supposed to come first, or was it Loki?
no, WandaVision was supposed to come first. They
Okay.
dropped it in the order
Okay.
that I've always heard they were going to come in.
And then, I thought that Winter Soldier was supposed to be before WandaVision. No.
Nah, I never heard that one time. Never heard
Okay,
that
so
one
it's
time.
always been one, two, three. Okay, got you.
Hmm. But we got Kev up. Go ahead, Kev. You want to chime in?
Hey, what's going on, guys? And yeah, and for everyone out there watching, you've been sucked into the black dimension, of course. We're talking about WandaVision. I see, and is sound like you were having some general Marvel conversation about Spider-Man: No Way Home. Did Charlie Cox actually sign on to be Daredevil for the MCU, or did they
I
leave
don't.
him on Netflix?
I don't know and that's what I'm saying. I wasn't trying to veer too far off from WandaVision, but that's the
Yeah,
theory that
but I'll tell you what.
Donnie dropped.
Okay, but I'll tell you what about WandaVision itself. It started out a little slow and questionable because I knew they were going somewhere with the whole old TV show dynamic and the evolution of television. And it did explain it to you later in the season that before the accident, the kids were always, especially her, were always sitting in front of the TV watching all kinds of old family television shows, and you discover that it was a trauma that she had sustained due to losing vision in the events of Infinity War and Endgame. So,
Hmm.
what this series also helped bring Wanda to that Scarlet Witch level. Yeah, so she is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with when she returns to the film in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I hear is going to be all kinds of funky. So, WandaVision to me, it was definitely a good start. Great acting jobs from both Paul Bethany and Elizabeth Olsen. It was kind of weird because the way the show was shaped itself, uh, Wanda was pretty much one of the like main antagonists, even though you discovered that Agatha Harkness was pulling the strings.
Behind it
Wait a minute.
after all.
What you said? Oh, okay. Well, that was kind of interesting to find out that she was in the role that she was. I honestly did not expect that coming. I thought it was interesting though the way they went from one period of time to another period of time because I don't ever recall that being done in television before. So that was a very interesting concept to me. I would say
Also,
like the first episode, I was kind of lost on where they were going with it. I won't use the word slow. I was just somewhat confused. I'll say that I was somewhat confused of how that came about.
yeah, but also supporting characters were very important as well, and they were very entertaining. Like you had Jimmy Woo, who's becoming a very good character. You also had Darcy, who hasn't been seen since Thor: The Dark World, which she did pretty good. And you also have Monica Rambeau, which was the grown up version of the little girl that was an that was Carol Danvers' best friend's daughter in the Captain Marvel film. So yeah, and there's a little backstory behind that. And what I found weird, I mean, what I found like was really stuck out to me with Monica Rambeau. It seemed like she fell asleep in the chair while her mother Maria Rambeau, who was featured in the Captain Marvel film, it seems like she was sleeping in the chair, and the whole Thanos snap happened, and when she when it did the reverse snap, she came back and she didn't even realize that anything had happened like at all. So I just wanted to put that out there when people started coming back, and yeah, also the whole Quicksilver thing, Evan Peters,
Evan Peters.
yeah, reprising his role as kind of reprising his role, but really he was put there to troll fans. Like it was amazing, yet it was kind of a letdown at the same time because the people watching really wanted that to be true and really wanted to. It really started to tie into the multiversal effect of things. Like you remember, Aaron Taylor Johnson was depicted as the brother, but then you got a Quicksilver from another continuity of Marvel films making an appearance on an MCU platform, which made it very interesting. It might be a foreshadowing of things to come.
And you know what? I'm one of those people. I actually one of the best things I like about Marvel is how they take different people from something or a past event or a past movie, even somebody small, give them a bigger role or whatever the case. I like that whole touch of keeping with the same actors for different things here and there. So to see him come in as Quicksilver, knowing I knew in my head like that's not Quicksilver, of course, because Quicksilver died. I didn't know where they were gonna go with that particular one, but I thought it was a great touch. To me, I like how they handled that. I wasn't really disappointed because I knew he wasn't gonna be Quicksilver. I knew it had to be something to it at the end of the day. But the fact that you saw Darcy pop up, you saw what's the FBI agent name? He's slipping my mind right now.
Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, Jimmy Woo pop up into the like I think that they do a great job as far as managing these different characters, and it really gives you a universal feel. Well, I ain't gonna say a universal, but it definitely helps pull you into it because this is where even us as adults we're supposed to be able to let our imaginations go free for a little bit and just enjoy the world that he put us in. So the fact that they use different characters from here or there or different actors to reprise different roles or even give them a bigger role, I love that about the MCU. That's one of their greatest things in my personal opinion.
Also, don't forget, you also saw the origin of Monica Rambeau's superpowers as well. So that's going to be very instrumental in the coming MCU films, especially like with Captain Marvel's next film being called The Marvels, which might Monica Rambeau might actually make an appearance in the upcoming Disney Plus Miss Marvel series as well. Um, so just wanted to put that out there as well. Um, and
Yeah, all those. Well, you know what? You guys go ahead. Go ahead.
no. But I will also say this. Also, during the WandaVision series, you knew something was going on when Vision tried to escape the town and almost completely destroyed himself trying to get out, which kind of you saw why that was in the last episode. Anything like the town, uh, the way Wanda had it was completely fabricated, and the Vision and the two kids who are actual characters in the Marvel comic books, Speedball and Wiccan, they were all fabrications of what Wanda envisioned as her perfect life. It was super wrong because she enslaved the minds of innocent people, which was which was kind of weird to the series itself, but it was also a very good element of writing as well. Wanda won't exactly be seen as the best person when her character returns.
I think they definitely made her more interesting because she already didn't come across all that well to Americans anyway, due to what was going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And even though she kind of is more even though she became an Avenger, she did have that accident that now made people wonder like should she really be involved. So with the time gap that has gone on, her past and the level of destruction she could cause. And I'm thinking how people are now going to react to the fact that she did enslave a whole town, because I'm assuming the public is going to find out about this particular event that happened in this town. That word is going to travel, so it could make it very interesting for her character later on down the road as the Marvel Cinematic Universe progresses.
Oh yeah, yeah. WandaVision to me was a very good start to the television.
Oh, we lost you, Kev. Okay. Well, we lost Kev and we lost Donnie. Okay, well, that's quite all right. That's quite all right. At the end of the day, though, I think it was a great watch. It definitely is worth the time. So if you haven't already watched this, definitely go back and watch it. And definitely, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, definitely subscribe to this channel, y'all. We are going to be putting out more content regularly. We will definitely be doing something on Falcon
Sorry
and the
about
Winter
that.
Soldier very soon. Okay, yeah, Kev is back. Yeah, we'll be doing something on Falcon and the Winter Soldier very soon. We're gonna also complete our Infinity 23 series. So definitely keep a lookout for us because we're definitely coming. Okay. And I'm about to get another show started on the so all those who know my show, I'm about to get started over there. So we're gonna have to bring this to a close. Any last words, Kev, before we get on up out of here?
Thanks for tuning in, and also thank you for subscribing. And there's more to come. So you have been sucked into the black dimension. Good luck finding your way out. Till next time.
And we are out of here.